Thanks, Matt. Hopefully I can keep to my 2 minutes, and thanks so much, Charlotte. That was really insightful and inspiring. So I just wanted to give you a bit of an introduction to some of the ways that volunteers support us at Birmingham Museums Trust. So they support our charity in so many amazing ways, from welcoming visitors with a smile to our 9 museums and historic properties, caring for our buildings through supporting our conservation work, looking after our collection of over 800,000 objects alongside our staff, and helping us to care for our outdoor spaces, helping to make sure that these spaces are welcoming for all. Whether they're supporting us for a couple of hours a year or in a more regular role, they help us to achieve so much, from ensuring the best possible visitor experience to enabling our collections to become more accessible. So before the pandemic, for example, our Works on Paper team were helping to digitise our collection of works on paper, meaning that people from all over the world have been able to access this collection via our digital image resource whilst our doors have been closed. The team challenges too. They challenge us to be better as an organisation, and our community action panel have been meeting for over 20 years to do just that, advising us, questioning us, acting as critical friends. And our young advisory board at Soho House are in their first year, supporting the long-term planning for Soho House's future, but also helping to make sure that that site is reflective of the local community and as what that community would like to see in our venues. The volunteers I work alongside at Birmingham Museums Trust inspire me with their love for our spaces and their dedication to supporting our work. Over the last few months, lots of the team have started to work remotely from home, helping to care for the collection from a distance, researching our sites whilst they can't be there, and engaging with the public too, just this time digitally. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of our team for their passion, for their time, and for the fact that I learned something new from working alongside them every single day. One of our volunteers recently said to me that she loved volunteering at Blakesley Hall because it gave her more than she gave it. And for me, this just sums up the generosity of volunteering, how important our spaces, our collections and our people are to people, but also how important they are for us too, and the time and the dedication that people share with us. So thanks ever so much for my 2 minutes. Hopefully that wasn't too whistle stop, but I'm going to hand over to Tracy Lazarus from Leighton House Museum. Thank you.
Hello. Don't know if you can hear me. Hi. Yeah, I'm Tracy, and I've been working for the last 5 years as the tour and volunteer coordinator at Leighton House and Sanborn House, which are 2 Victorian artist houses 10 minutes apart, just off High Street, Kensington in London, owned and managed by the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea Council. I want to say a really big thank you to all of the amazing volunteers we have at both our houses. We literally couldn't function without them. We have about 50 volunteers helping us out, all doing a variety of different but essential tasks. At Leighton House, we have volunteers helping out and supporting school workshops and community group visits during the week, family workshops and sessions on the weekends, and late and lates in the evenings. A few of our volunteers undertake free walking tours in all weathers around the local area, telling visitors about the Holland Park Circle of Artists, and other volunteers help our visitors to understand our collection in object handling sessions. We also have a team of about 10 dedicated gardening volunteers who come in every other Saturday, come rain or shine, to make sure that Leighton House Garden is always looking its best. When Sanborn House is open to the public for open access, we have volunteer room stewards without whom we could not open the house. Over the summer, when the house is closed for conservation, we have volunteers helping with all the different conservation tasks that need doing, which is no small job in a jam-packed Victorian family home when nothing has ever been thrown away. We are very grateful to all of our wonderful volunteers, some of whom have been with us for quite a few years, others having joined us only recently. Their dedication and enthusiasm are really inspiring, and I hope it won't be too long before we're all back at the houses together. I will now pass you on to our next speaker, Nicola. Thank you.
Hi everyone, can you all hear me? Yeah, Wonderful. So my name's Nicola Syker. I'm the volunteering coordinator for Leicestershire County Council's Heritage and Library Services. We have over 400 just truly amazing volunteers, and we just feel so incredibly lucky that they chose to gift their time, skills and energy to our heritage and library services. The volunteering activity they get involved in is incredibly diverse. We've got house interpreters who really help bring the 1620s house and gardens to life. We've got archaeology volunteers who document and take really high quality photographs of our collections, making them more accessible to the public. We've got gardening volunteers who they're all born with green fingers. Honestly, the gardens look truly beautiful. I'm always in awe of them. We've got event volunteers who help us put on amazing events, and they, you know, so many more roles. I can't go through every single one, but they are truly a huge integral part of our heritage team. And I think what's really lovely is not only do they bring the passion, the skills and ideas, but they just bring a genuine love for heritage. And it really shines out from them, so that's lovely. I know I've only got 2 minutes, so I can't talk about everyone and every role, but I just wanted to quickly focus on 2 projects that we've been working on. So we recently launched our community creator projects, all of which have a really strong volunteering element, and it's where local people and local groups take the lead on co-creating and co-designing exhibitions and events in local museums with us. A recent example of this is Anna Mangle, a local ladies group of South Asian heritage who created a beautifully and wonderful exhibition at our Charnwood Museum, where it showcased their traditions, heritage and memories. I honestly don't think I've ever seen such an inviting exhibition case. It had so much colour, so much vibrancy to it, and the whole project, the ladies were involved in every single part of it. From choosing the objects, they even provided some of their own personal items to go in the case, to writing the content to go in the case, and to even creating it and putting it up. So it was fantastic. I also just want to really quickly shout out to my Heritage Youth Forum. They would have been celebrating their first year anniversary in July. They're a group of 6 young people, and they've been working on a really exciting youth festival project. It'll be the first of its kind in Leicestershire, bringing together young people to explore and share what heritage means to them. It's lovely. It's going to be an event designed by young people for young people, but unfortunately the pandemic meant we had to postpone it. But you know, I can't wait to get back working with them because they have so many fresh and exciting ideas, and they are providing a much needed young person's voice to the heritage sector. I think everyone can agree it's been a really weird few months. My favourite part of my role is working with the volunteers directly. You know, they just bring so much energy and passion. It always just brightens up my day. So I just want to say thank you to all of them, and yeah, really looking forward to being able to work with them again, hopefully in the near future. I am now passing on to Alex Walker, Chair of the British Association of Friends of Museums.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Friends of museums are as varied as museums are themselves, of course, and British Association of Friends of Museums represents about well over 200 groups from all over the United Kingdom, from the Highlands all through England, Northern Ireland and Wales. And they represent in total well over 70,000 individuals, and many friends of museums do of course get involved in volunteering, and they do all sorts, from driving trains to knitting mice for a mouse trail in a museum at one point. They do things like gardening, collections care. They help out at workshops, they guide visitors, they fundraise, of course. They help with youth panels, they run cafes and shops, they demonstrate and work machinery, things like showing the weaving looms at Macclesfield Silk Museum, for example, and all sorts, really. And most of them will be absolutely champing at the bit to get back to work when the virus is over. we're currently doing some work to do a survey of our members about the impact that the virus is having on them, and the results of it, the results are only just coming in. It's a bit early to report much, but there are a few concerns. The headline for BAFM generally is that in a normal year, if you can ever remember what that was like, Friends of Museums in BAFM contributed over 250,000 hours of voluntary work per year to museums, and costing that at the value that the National Lottery Heritage Funds puts on it when they're valuing for in-kind work, that's worth over £3 million to the sector. And in addition, they almost double that with the cash donations that they make to museums as well, of course. So the virus, of course, has happened at the time when, for many museums, it's their key time for working, and also for volunteers to be doing work. And among the impact that we're concerned about is that for many volunteers, it's part of their routine. They're used to coming in doing work at a particular time, and that routine will have been disrupted when the museums reopen. Some of our survey respondents have indicated that they're slightly worried that particularly some of the older volunteers may be concerned about safety when they return to work. So obviously, but of course, obviously that is something that the museums themselves will be tackling for visitors in general and for their own staff. But certainly very clear messages will need to go out to volunteers about how they are going to be able to work safely and securely. And but of course, as Charlotte has said, this is a fantastic opportunity for us to re-examine what volunteers are doing. It's an opportunity to refocus, and a crisis can be fantastic at unlocking creativity and the way that museums and their friends work together. The HVG research project last year about the impact of volunteering in the sector highlighted that for many volunteers, the volunteering enriches their life so much and gives that meaning, and it's a two-way relationship. The work that the volunteers does is immensely valuable to the organisation, but of course it's immensely valuable to the volunteers themselves as well. And we look forward to rebuilding those relationships once this horrible time is over. Right, I'll now hand over to Pippa Vidal-Davis from the Nottingham Castle Trust.
Hello everyone, lovely to meet you, even if it's virtually. I started my role as a volunteer manager just 2 months before lockdown at Nottingham Castle. I've got the wonderful privilege in a way that the castle is closed until February next year anyway for a 30 million redevelopment. So in the worst scenario, it hasn't affected me all that much other than the fact that I'm working from home. But that didn't stop me from trying to think creatively of ways to really engage with people, with volunteers, starting with maybe a dozen at the very start. There's now 900 households volunteering across Nottinghamshire, growing this plant called the Nottingham catchfly. It was a plant that its name reflects what it is really. It used to grow in the castle grounds in the 19th century and before that, but it then disappeared. It's all over the country except in Nottinghamshire. So we really wanted to get people growing from home, and 900 packs went all over the county, encouraging people to grow, nurture, and then come next year when we're open to be able to actually plant them on the castle grounds, showing the resilience, the hope, this sense of community whilst being apart, and then this pride and this kind of belonging to Nottingham. And just the joy that I've received in terms of getting updates from people, the seedlings growing, or cats in the photographs, or families getting together remotely to rival to see who grows the biggest catchfly. It's just been really lovely. And even in these difficult times, I think that we have a platform as volunteer leaders to actually allow people to see themselves as being able to change the world in a way, and even little by little that they can create an impact, and it's thanks to them that we can change the world a bit.